our first full month working together, you made how much?
$5K, yeah. My first ever like set that closed, I had 2 on the same day, and that day I went to Muay Thai, and it was on the bike ride there, I checked my phone, and I was like, I would make £300, and I was like, bro, what the hell?
Your highest amount in a day, just in DM closing, was 1.7K, right?
And that was from 2 DM closes and 2 normal, it was like a crazy day. I generated like 20K for the business, took over like $1.6K, $1.7K. Like getting that skill foundation, learning how to DM close, it takes you so far in terms of what else you can apply it to.
You were the perfect example. When we worked together, you had no sales experience, then went from being a setter to
coaching, closing, setting, managing, now full-on growth operating and sort of consulting.
Yeah, what's up guys, and welcome to another video. I'm here with Louis. Louis, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Louis. I'm 19. I'm from the UK. Chris is very good at what he does. That's what I say about Chris, but yeah, that's me.
I appreciate that. Now for a bit of an introduction. So Louis actually came to me with 0 sales experience. He just knew he wanted to make money online.
Yeah, about a year ago, September last year.
And it basically just achieved financial and time freedom. Now, in our first full month working together, you made how much?
$5K, yeah.
And that's just in commissions, right?
In pure commissions from, appointment setting. And peak month was between $7 and $8K.
So in this video, we're going to be uncovering exactly how you're able to do that. And of course, kind of lay out the roadmap for anyone watching this who wants to achieve the exact same results.
Of course, let's do it.
So Louis, first question I got for you, bro. What made you want to change your situation?
So I finished sixth form, as most people do. I got decent grades, and then didn't want to go to university straight away. I always wanted to make money online, but I didn't have any skills. I didn't know anything. Like making 1K online seemed like a dream, like completely foreign. So I'm from Cambridge, we're in Cambridge now, and we have this thing called punting where like they sell tickets, and I did that over summer, and I sort of thought, okay, sales could be the path for me. What can I do online with sales? And then saw like appointment setting is like the first step. So that was the main thing, not wanting to go to university, wanting to have some sort of location and time freedom and use it as a stepping stone to go on to more.
And when you first got into it, of course, it was completely new to you, the environment, right? You'd never done it before. What was it like? You were in that first week, even that first day, mate?
First day was like crazy because obviously the offer we were on, everything was set up like very smoothly, all the automations. Not everyone will have that luxury. But it was just a huge learning curve. And Chris, I cannot say how much Chris like shortened that for me, just in terms of my skill set and my understanding of setting in general and just the high ticket space. I especially remember, for example, my show rate and just my close rate on my set leads just being extremely low in those first few weeks, and just improving that and having so much like one-to-one help from Chris was really game-changing, to say the least. I would not be where I am today without those initial months of trial and tribulation.
And how quickly did you actually start seeing change?
In my skill, well, I mean, the initial training was like the first huge jump, but then you can only learn so much just with training. You have to do it and you have to improve from there, like with anything. So, I mean, I obviously have to go back in my memory, but it was quick. Like it was very quick. And I think you saw that in me as well. Like after like the first like full month that I was actually on the offer, like things changed pretty quickly. And then from there I was number one for, I think, maybe behind you for like for quite a while. And then peak month, I think, like I said, 8K, and that was in February of 2025, which was crazy to me at the time, like just setting. And yeah.
And in terms of the coaching and the mentorship that I offered, what would you say most kind of impactful things you learned on that offer that helped you even grow past it, right, into kind of you doing your own coaching, setting manager?
From our time, it was more like just the basic understanding of sales principles and setting in general. And in terms of what you did that was most helpful, like I cannot emphasize enough those daily looms, like of just conversation reviews and giving genuine, direct and very actionable feedback every single day that kept me very accountable was like another level. And when I look back, like now what I do is I growth operate. So I manage big teams of sales reps. I consult with offer owners. I run very big webinar campaigns and all of that stuff. But without the basics and the discipline and the accountability that I had with you and what I learned about the info space as a setter, I wouldn't be where I am today. So yeah, definitely that accountability and then the direct feedback.
So Louis, aside from training and guidance, now I'm in work with other setters and of course being in the space for just over a year now, what are some of the traits that you think someone has to have to actually be good at setting and to excel? Okay,
to be good at setting, you need to be very open to learning, because what you've got to realize, if you're wanting to get into setting, you're at the very bottom of like sort of where you can be in the online space. You definitely have to be very humble, very open to learning, and you have to have unsatiable hunger for like getting to your goals, because like my first few weeks, I really didn't make any money, and that's totally normal. Like that's really, really normal. It's to be expected. You cannot like fall off the horse after like a week or even a month or even 2 months or 3 months, because like good things take time. I was lucky to be working with Chris and had some luck with different opportunities that came up and different things like that. But the number one thing is like just hunger, right? You have to be willing to go the extra mile, be very coachable and really humble yourself and be like, okay, I don't know a lot. I'm going to need to learn. And the number one piece of advice is like, if you know that this is the path that you want to go down, it is possible. Like a year ago, like I wouldn't have believed you could not have made me believe I'd be where I am today. But through investing in myself and through actually taking action, that's how you can get there. But you will doubt yourself. So you have to have a lot of confidence as well. Not confidence, but confidence comes through action. So you have to be willing to place a bet on yourself.
And do you remember what your first major win was? Like the moment when you realized, like, oh, this is real. Like, I'm actual success with this.
My days, bro. There's a few, like from setting, like there's a few that have been later on, which is like, oh, this is crazy. But nothing can beat those first wins, like that first 1 or 2K. So I would say my first ever like set that closed, I had 2 on the same day. And that day I went to Muay Thai and it was on the bike ride there. I checked my phone and I was like, I would have made £300. And I was like, bro, what the hell? Oh, it was crazy. It was actually crazy. And I was like 18, and then something else was going. I was training for a marathon in October. Things went a bit awry that weekend. And I was like going through Europe. I ran the marathon in Budapest in October of 2024. And that weekend, like once again, I made like a few hundred in comms. And I was like, I'm making money whilst traveling, whilst doing other things. Like obviously I worked very hard and I was dedicated to what I was doing, but like I could choose when I wanted to work as long as I put the inputs in. And I think that like marathon weekend, friends being with me and I was still making money, could pay the whole trip, was insane. And then later on in my journey, I think getting back to my mum, so taking my mum on holiday, this was maybe a bit more into the growth operating side of things that I do now from setting, but setting was the entry point. So being able to give back to family is like another huge like milestone for me.
Yeah, and even in terms of your setting, do you remember what your highest commission was in a month?
Between $7 and $8K, like I said.
And how did I feel? You getting that? You seen that in your account?
From just setting was crazy. Like seeing, obviously, actually that commission got delayed so long because of a Stripe-ish. That was crazy.
It is yours, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's super, like feels good. Like there's not really many words that you can use to describe it, especially if you're coming from a 9 to 5. Like you get used to, like now I'm used to it and it's like normal, very, very normal. Like I could get a 5K piff for myself and be like, okay, I want to normalize that. But yeah, it was crazy.
And something that I've been getting a lot of comments and requests about is DM closing. When people see that, I've helped my clients DM close, I have DM close. Your highest, I think, amount in a day just in DM closing was 1.7K. Right.
In pounds, it was like 1.2 thousand, and that was from 2 DM closes and 2 normal. It was like a crazy day. I think that was in February.
All in 24 hours.
All on the same offer. I generated like 20K for the business, took over like $1.6K, $1.7K.
And what would you say to people watching it, to them in terms of DM closing, right? Of course, not an affiliation is necessarily what it is, because I'll cover that, but kind of what it takes to actually get a DM close done, and even the feeling of you making that much money in one single day.
It's crazy because I think what you learn with Chris is not only setting, because you want to progress as a setter. I think this is something really huge that I could offer an insight in, is like setting is a stepping stone. You want to learn how to become a closer, become a sales manager, setting manager, whatever it may be, like whatever your long-term goals are. But learning how to DM close is like super important because you learn so much about emotional intelligence, even as it's just a setter. But DM closing is a whole nother ballpark of like selling a high-tier product in the DMs, like without a call. You have to be able to build so much trust with just words, and that's super important. And like people are worried. I think this is an objection people have, like saying like AI is going to take over. It's not going to be a useful skill, but you don't really want to be a setter for more than like a year, 6 months, some people in 3 months until they move on to the next thing. But getting that skill foundation, learning how to DM close, it takes you so far in terms of what else you can apply it to.
You were the perfect example. Right? We worked together. You, again, had no sales experience, then went from being a setter to coaching and setting.
Coaching, closing, setting, managing, now full on growth operating and sort of consulting. I have some systems that I'm planning on selling as well in terms of how I've scaled an offer to $250,000 a month.
What was the time frame for that? For you to go from being a setter, first getting in contact with me?
So literally a year ago, first month I was working with Chris, finished as a setter end of February. So it was like 6 months, 6 months. And then beyond that, a sort of mixed period of doing like this, that and the other. And then really started going all in on the growth operating June, July of this year.
How would you say to people that setting actually led you to those moments?
When you set and when you have good connections like Chris has to, like I have so many people asking me for setters nowadays that I can't even place them all. And it's probably a similar situation with Chris. Like when you have the connection, when you pay someone for mentorship, they can like give you the connections. And just in terms of how setting has led to like other success is you see the inside of an info offer, you see marketing, you see closing, you see the whole process. And if you're someone who has initiative, you can like use that and say, okay, I've seen this. Why can't I offer that service to another business? Or why can't I take the time out of my day? I can see these sales calls. Why don't I study them, study the closing calls? Like ask the offer, all right, I'm looking to a closer. Can you accommodate that? Like, is there progression here? And then you can become a closer. Like there's so many different levels that you can like learn as a setter.
For sure. And looking back to where you started, for us a year ago again, coming out of sixth form, no sales experience, to where you are now, what, of course, how has your life changed? But what are some of the things that you're kind of most grateful for that you can and that you've achieved now maybe almost take for granted that you couldn't back.
So what are you grateful for is super important, because I make a practice of gratitude. And the number one thing is, okay, not having to work a 9 to 5. I highly doubt that I'll ever have to work a 9 to 5, hopefully ever again. I really don't like working for someone else. So that's one thing. And then
Why not? To cut you off, sorry, why not?
why do I not want, like, yeah, it's because once you have a taste of like online money, you never want to go back, because then you have the freedom to work. Like tomorrow I'm traveling to Spain, visiting family. I've just been able to, just the general freedom. And even if like you don't have the desire at the moment to scale to 20K, 30K a month, that first 5K a month that you can make from setting is probably the biggest difference that you'll ever get. Like the difference between making 5 and 10K a month and making 20K a month and 30K a month that I've done is not like, it's not huge. That first like 5, 10K month was, the biggest for sure.
And for people watching this who want to achieve the same results, right, and who are thinking that, you know, if I've helped you, maybe I can help them, and want to reach out for support and mentorship and guidance, what would you tell them?
I would say Chris has been in the game. I'm sure you can see other videos on his channel where he explains his story. He's managed teams. He's done millions in sets. I don't know how many, multiple million. And he is the best in terms of everything setting. I'll say it like, I wouldn't be where I am today without Chris. I'm very grateful for him. And I think anyone who is considering working with Chris, if you're genuinely watching this, you can see that we're here in real life. Like I've met Chris twice now. He is the most genuine person on this face. And obviously he's not cheap, because he gets people very good results. So if you're actually someone who can say to themselves, well, I'm committed and I can do this. Like I was stupid a year ago. Literally anyone can do this if they have the right mindset and the right drive. And if you do have that and you're just like, well, I'd rather shortcut the learning curve and I want to learn from the best and make the most money, then working with Chris is like a no-brainer, like complete no-brainer.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you very much, bro.
Tell the people how to find you and where they can find you.
Oh, me, Louis Appa on Instagram or YouTube. If you were looking for more like funnel breakdowns, growth operating stuff, it's probably maybe a bit high level for affairs at the moment, but
Long term, you know.
drop me a follow. I always drop some cool source. So yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right.